Hey, if you spot it, you got it. Who inspires you? Guess what? You're an inspiration too. Let me show you how. This is Cherie Ray with True You Creativity Studio.
And your key phrase, I love your key phrase. Do you want to share that again with our viewers and our listeners?
That if you spot it, you got it?
Oh, I love that. Say that again.
If you spot it, you've got it.
Tell me, what does that really mean?
Well, there a lot of times, as we talked about in the first segment, we talked about how people feel they don't have a creative bone in their body.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Or they aren't even familiar with what it feels like to be inspired. But what could happen is if they have known someone, known in the media, not necessarily known personally, maybe it is a change maker in the universe. You know, maybe there's something about it that when that person or a conversation about that person comes up, somehow their radar picks up and they tune in to whatever it is that's going on. And that shows a commonality that if it resonates within them, if it's a quality or a trait that they have appreciated in another person, it could be a coworker, it could be a mentor in your career path, it could be a musician, like we were talking earlier about those that had inspired Mason early in his career, that he would not see those qualities in another person if he didn't already possess them.
So if we're inspired by someone, then there's something in our own selves that is being awakened and brought into play.
Yes.
And that's how these angels and these people come into our lives without coincidence that take you to the next place. I mean, it's happened all throughout my life. I can look back and see, you know, little things that were harbingers and markers when at the time I didn't see that at all. In fact, many of those people and those situations were disasters. They were, you know, not welcomed, but they, as you were saying earlier, send you down the path where you need to go as opposed to where you thought you were going.
Absolutely. It's as if they're called up from central casting to support you in the direction that brings you closer to your heart.
Even if it makes you feel bad at the moment.
Even if it's on a bumpy road.
A bumpy road.
It might be a bumpy road and it's tough to see the silver lining, but somehow it is a change in your trajectory that will take you closer to who you are, not farther away.
So do you want to hear about my very first bumpy road?
I was going to ask.
Okay. Well, it happened when I was 3. And it was in the form of a skunk outfit. My very first dance recital. They chose for my class to wear skunk outfits, and I was so upset. And all the mothers, you know, back in 1842, when I was 3 years old, got the choice of either making their child's costume, and then it was cheaper, or they could order it. And of course, my mother wanted to be on a budget, so she said she was going to make the outfit. So there was fur all over the house. And my very first picture as a dancer was made of me in a skunk outfit.
Oh.
And look what happened then. I'm telling you. I started my career as a skunk.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. That's precious.
I know. I was in the newspaper and everything, so I still have the picture.
I think that's precious.
And I was fat.
Oh. I don't believe it. Oh, I don't believe it.
I
but
know.
do you see right there, it would be your inner critic inhibiting your creative process.
Oh, you're
Look
right.
at all that downloading. You're already, you would pick up at 3 years old.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Right.
I've been fat ever since, I guess.
In your mind, probably, but not in real life.
So,
I'm looking at you.
Oh, you're sweet. So if I were to come to your studio and work on, you know, my thighs or whatever, I would paint myself thin? I mean, how does that work?
No, it's not painting anything specific. It really is allowing the inspiration, this creative energy that is beating your heart, blinking your eyes, this energy of aliveness, and allowing that connection to your intuition to become more solid and taking your inspiration from your intuition.
One of the things that you said to me when we were meeting a couple of weeks ago is you were saying that every single moment in your life, you're checking with your core to see, does this feel good or does that feel better? Should it be strawberry? Should it be vanilla? Tell me a little bit more about that way of living.
Well, exactly. It's when we were talking about the creative process and how creating a life that you love is the offering that we have to be here, and that we are instinctively and innately creative. It's how can at any opportunity can you choose that which has the highest energy? And I like to even break it down to when you get dressed in the morning. It's like, is it a pink shirt or is it black? and just check into the sensation of which feels more alive. And that is a creative choice, and that is a great way to begin a creative process, to watch it expand, that every choice is an opportunity for creative choice.
I love that. So I bet you're in big demand to speak to people about this way of living, and also in great demand with some of your corporate programming.
Absolutely.
Tell me all about that. I'm fascinated with the way that you present it.
Doing corporate work is so exciting to me because it allows two things. It allows heart to come into the corporate situation and allows the management, the corporate culture, to have an opening to really allow more of their employees to come into the office so they can live more authentically. They can live more wholly and fully integrated and stay where they are versus they need to leave a job that they may really like to be able to explore fully more of themselves.